Problem 3. For this problem, you'll need to set your calculator to maths. It's the future, and Queen Elizabeth III and Queen Elizabeth IV are going to a party held by Queen Elizabeth V. They're keen to make the right impression, so it's important that they choose their outfits carefully. Queen Elizabeth III has 40 dresses to choose from, whereas Queen Elizabeth IV has 4,000. Queen Elizabeth V has just one dress, but it has the ability to transform itself into the shape of any dress. The night before the party, Queen Elizabeth IV's handmaiden steals the patterns to Queen Elizabeth III's dresses and, working through till dawn, makes 40 exact replicas. Can you calculate the probability that all 3 queens will be wearing the same dress at the party? And how many times can Queen Elizabeth V's dress change before it overheats?
Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today on the bench I've just picked up a little television. It's a little Matsui, which is a local UK brand, usually cheap and cheerful. Yeah, is there even a model on this thing? Oh yeah, there we go. It's a 6-inch colour television, Matsui 6091, made in Hong Kong, 12 volts, 1.7 amps. Yeah, it's a cute little thing. Little colour set, tuning at the top. It's quite filthy. I didn't pay very much for this. This was again from the Empire Exchange shop in Manchester, which seems to be a good scrumping ground for stuff. We've got composite in and audio in, power there. We've got RF at the back. Then on the side here we've got degaussing, hold, contrast, brightness, colour, and mode AV or TV. Little speaker here. On the top we've got, it's very difficult to see, there we go, power button, very big power button, volume, feels a bit scratchy, and the tuner. Little handle, as you can see, a little handle there, and we've got an aerial at the back, which is now essentially useless. Yeah, it was not very much at all. I got a little bit off actually because they couldn't test it, so they sort of took quite a decent chunk out of it. Yeah. That's Jack again. So yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. It's very filthy. And before I actually do anything with this, I'm actually going to give it a clean up because I don't really want all this crap on my hands. And yeah, so okay, let's do that right now. Yeah, I've got everything there. Let's give it a clean up. Just a light clean up. And all I'm using is window cleaner. In other countries it's called Windex. We've got various names for it over here. Yeah, it's don't know whether it works. Couldn't test it. I haven't tested it yet. So yeah, I've got the power adapter from the other little portable TV, and I haven't plugged it in at all. That's a little bit better. Oh yeah, that was quite filthy. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug this in. I've just checked this to make sure that it's 12 volts. Jack and Safi seem to be chasing the birds again. Got a problem with birds here, they tease. Yeah, so let's plug in. And No, there we go. Let's turn on. Oh wow, that's noisy. And we have a picture. Looks reasonably sharp. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got brightness, contrast, horizontal hold, colour. Yeah, okay. What have we got here? AV switch. Yeah, just seeing everything. All the controls feel really scratchy. The door gauzing seems to work a little bit. Let's grab a video source. Let's play on that. That's it. I'm just going to change you over to the right frequency so you don't get all that flickering. And that's what we've got. So, no colour, first of all. The horizontal frequency is out. It's settling down, but it's quite. Let's just turn it down. Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, the horizontal hold seems to be thing, and it could well be the horizontal frequency rather than horizontal hold. At least it works, which is the main thing. We can work with that. We can definitely work with that. I'm going to go and grab some tools, and I'm just going to leave this running here with the camera going, and let's see whether just simply warming up actually causes this to start to work. I think that's about that. Now I'm actually adjusting the vertical hold, and if that's out of sync with the camera, and then there we are. That should be about right. I've got some ghosting on the side here. It's ringing, so alright, I'm going to let that run, and let's see whether it actually comes back in again, and if it does, that's capacitors. Sort of a time lapse as well, while I go and grab some tools and make myself a cup of tea. Right, well, it looks like it's settled down, but it's still bad. Okay, let's crack this open and have a look inside and see what's going on. That came open with a bang. Wow. We've got here, just opening that. Now this shouldn't have done anything here. We've got the speaker here. And then we've got this, just flapping around in the breeze. Ah, I see a horizontal hold. Okay. Right, okay, let me take you off the thing and we can have a dive into it. Just there, that is the sub brightness just there, that little control yellow thing there. And then we have one, where is it? Just there. And it's got H hold on it. So let me power this back up again. We've got a mirror up there so I can see what's going on. I'm going to put a glove on. When you're working on CRTs, it's advisable to wear gloves. I said that just helps with protection. You might still get a little bit of a bang from it, but it's going to help insulate your hands. I have had a little bit of a shock from one of these when wearing these, but it was nowhere near as bad as it could have been. So it's more of a protection. Okay, let's turn on. Now I'm going to be going down near the yoke. I don't particularly want to go anywhere near it too much, so I'm going to focus on there we go. We have a picture. So black and white, so we've got a colour demodulation problem. Yeah, okay, let's just turn the TV round. It's a little unstable, certainly at the top. Oh, we have got colour. We have got colour, but boy, is that right up. Let's see whether I can. Oh, come on, camera. The picture's a little bit unstable. There is colour. If I turn the colour right up, you can see a little bit of colour in it. Not much. The focus is good. Well, that's a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. There's the colour's definitely quite poor. Can't even see whether you can see the colour in that. So if I turn colour off, that's colour off, colour full up, there we go. Yeah, so there's a picture. It's a bit unstable at the top. Yeah, okay, let's get some colour bars on this and see what we get. That's not too bad, but that's with the colour straight up. The colour off, colour on. That is full whack on colour. Jack! It's squashed, so there's problems with that. That's washed out. That's the contrast all the way down, contrast all the way up, brightness up, brightness down. So there is, it's not looking too bad. That colour control is virtually nothing there. So I think this needs capacitors. Bit of blooming going on there. The focus is pretty decent. The bars here will tell you sort of what the frequency response is of it, and it's actually going up quite far. So if it was down here, it would be quite poor. So that's actually not too bad. You can't see that last one there. These were never high quality sets, but as I said, that is literally with everything all turned up. Literally the colour, the brightness, the whole lot, literally everything all up. If I return them back to mid, about there and about there, you've barely got any colour and it looks a bit washed out. So it could be that the tube is knackered, who knows, or it could be the capacitors. This thing may not have run for some time, so yeah. So that's about everything on 3/4 and the colour up to maximum. Yeah. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let this run for a while and let's see whether it improves over time. Oh, that's absolutely terrible. Look at the bowing on this. Wow. That ain't bad. So I think it's suffering from power supply problems. It's not enough current, not enough oomph to basically maintain the CRT. And again, that can be capacitors. You've got some leaky capacitors in the power supply. It's a little bit dusty inside here. Nothing too bad. It's it's a Panasonic tube, A14 KLL60X. It's got a jungle chip in there. Yeah, so it's going to look a bit washed out. It is getting better. It is getting better. There is the colours slowly seem to be coming back. There's a lot of hooking at the top here. So yeah, I just think this thing needs a full capacitor replacement, and then it'll be a nice little television. So yeah, I think what I pay for it, the very little money I pay for it, would be absolutely fine. Okay, let's I'm just going to clear up around here and set this up, and then let it run with a bit of Arc in Space, Doctor Who Arc in Space, and see how it performs. There we go. A little bit of Doctor Who. Let that run. I've adjusted the screen voltage on it just to increase it just a tiny bit. I'm going to let that run and see how well the colour comes back in. See what happens. Let it run. This thing probably hasn't been run for some time, so not for any length of time anyway. So it'll give the capacitor's chance to basically reform, get going. There is some jitter there on the vertical. It's sort of jittering a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as we let it run. That colour is up maximum, and even in the camera I can see that there's very little colour. So yeah, let's just let it run, see what happens, and take it from there. And I'll come back in a short while. For you it'll be just a few moments, and it'll be about an hour and a half for this running, and let's see what happens. So I've dismantled this little television, the little Matsui. Yeah, so taking the tube out, I'm just looking around at all the capacitors. There's a couple of capacitors here with black guns all over, which usually becomes conductive. They're all Jamicom caps, so they're generally quite hard wearing and seem to do quite well. There's a big bipolar 10 microfarad 25 volt cap there, which is unusual, certainly of that size. They all seem okay. Do I just bulk recap? Might do. Again, this is the main jungle chip here, so yeah, that will do the majority of the work. The rest of this is probably just frequency. The actual let's have a look. Crystal oscillator for the chip. IF can. Yeah, I'm just sort of looking around. That looks like a power thing. So that's probably doing absolutely everything. It's a fairly compact board. The neck tube, CRT socket, all looks okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for anything dodgy or anything. There's a couple of components over here which are all pushed up against each other, which don't need to be. So yeah, let's just move that. Just splay the components apart a little bit. So they've got some that transistor. It's got gunk all over it. I think it's the same stuff as this, but this black stuff becomes conductive. You get a sort of like a gunk on it, and it just becomes conductive on it. Absorbs water, moisture. Yeah, just apart from a few components that are all leaned over on each other, which mostly isn't a problem. I think I am going to recap this. I think I will do it. Give it a fighting chance. It's probably about 25 years old at least, something like that. There's no date on the chip, so it's difficult to tell exactly how old. yeah, I think I will actually. I'm gonna recap all this and see how we go. All right, let's get on with that. Okay, so that was fun. Quite straightforward to do, really, actually. There was a few capacitors I couldn't replace. The bipolar ones, I don't have any of those in stock. This 220 microfarad 16 volt I don't have in stock. And a couple of the 0.47 microfarads, but everything else has been replaced. It all looks pretty good. That's the pile of capacitors I've got, and most of them will test okay. I'm basically just trying to get this up and running and know that actually everything's replaced and it's in good condition. Most of these capacitors are well over 25 years old. They could go on for another 5 or 10 years, but actually I want the actual TV to work for as long as possible and not blow a transistor because some capacitor's gone out of spec, or even the chip itself, just for the sake of a couple of pence for one of the small capacitors. So yeah, one or two I can't do, and I'm just going to leave them. That's fine. And so, okay, we're going to get the whole thing back together again. I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean up, just a bit of a wipe down, and yeah, let's get this TV back together again. Okay, so we're nearly ready to power on. I've got the power adapter in, it's plugged in. I just have to press the top here. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Anything? And there we go. Yep, so I'm going to get a video source into this, and let's see what the picture looks like. Okay, the video source is in. This is currently on tuner. Let's switch it on to yeah, and we get a nice, good, solid picture. Any more colour? Not really. Yeah, it's a bit washed out. The colour's definitely not right. So that's full colour. That's black and white. It's very difficult to tell. In the camera, it's just not registering very much. So, okay. Let's go to the back of the CRT and adjust the screen voltage. Really struggling to get a decent brightness. So what I'm going to try and do is just slowly. Oh, hang on. There it is. Right. I'm just trying to turn the red, green, and blue up to just try and get a decent colour range. That's as best as I can get. It's really interesting how now it's all off at the moment, but that's as best as I can get. What you see in the camera is what I see in the TV. Hold on. There we go. Let's go back to that. So that's the blue, then that's the red, and then that's the green. So green, red, blue. I'm overdriving these by quite some way. Yeah, that's literally with the colour at maximum. I'll give you an idea. You can see in the background the colours on the Toshiba TV over there. Let's see what I can move this out of the way. So yeah, you can see that there's the colours over there, and then yeah, this looks washed out. The yellow looks washed out. They all just look terrible. There's no richness, no vibrancy to the colours. As if it's actually a signal problem rather than a gun driving problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to next. There you are. So if I do, right, that's with the gun driven right up to the max. Let's just drive the whole lot up and go back one. Yeah, it's a muddy mess. Alright, so that's the red right up. The red gun. That's as far as everything will go. Yep. That is literally as far as I can get the colours. Let's turn. I think somebody's run the life out of this thing. Blue, and that blue looks really purple. It's not as vibrant as that. That is really lovely in blue. This is that earthing. Let's see whether I can change the white balance on this. No, I think that's about it. Yeah, it's just not even remotely blue. That's blue. Yeah, that's blue. I'm actually using that as a reference to this to see whether I can actually get the colours. That's green. So that's green. That's about as best of green I'm going to get. And that's red, which is, yeah. So we've got some sort of imbalance in the colour here. red and green seem quite weak, but blue is quite strong. That's quite close to what's on the thing. It may not look it in the camera, but in person that is not far off. So if we then go to green, that's not far off. Blue, completely washed out. The only way to get it even close is like that. Go back to red and green. Not too good. Looks more pink than anything else. Okay. Oh, that's red. It's very close. Very, 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 very close. Let's try green again. That is pretty close to the colours on that other television. It's not there, but it's as close as I'm going to get. Red, green, blue, and white. Is it white? Yeah, it's not far off of white. Yeah. And this is with the screen voltage up to as close as I can go. All of the guns are right up in the into the thing. I've increased the green bias and the red bias just to try and see whether I can get it somewhere there. Let's see whether we actually get. Oh yeah, look at that! Look at the voltage drop on that coming off the white. Woohoo! Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's try it with a TV program, a bit of Doctor Who, and see whether we actually get a colour picture now. Well, we do have colour now on this, so yeah, the guns are pretty much maxed out. It's a pretty sharp picture. I've reduced the screen voltage a little bit and adjusted the brightness control a little bit just to try and get some sort of decent contrast on it. That isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. Before you couldn't see the colour in the camera at all. And you also have to remember that is a bloody good picture over there and it's all set up correctly. So the blacks are blacks and so on. There you are. You can see hints of colour now. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely see hints of colour on that. Blue jeans, yellow hard hat, orange ground. Yeah, that is better. Oh, there we are. There's a TARDIS. So you can see it's not far off. It is not far off. It's just not as vibrant. But yeah, that's about as best as I'm going to get. The focus is pretty much bang on, I can tell. There's horrible deflections going on with the power supply, so I might increase the B plus voltage just a tad and see what happens. Yeah, okay, let's have a go at that just to see whether it actually helps. Okay, that actually seemed to help. I've increased the B plus voltage just a tad, nothing too much, and it seems to have made a difference. As I said, the colour is maxed out, absolutely maxed out on it. So, okay, let's go back to the colour bars and see whether that makes a difference. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Not great, but not bad. The blacks are a bit blacker, the blues are not as vibrant, but there's nothing much I can do about that. The red looks a bit muted, the green looks brighter. The white looks white, so I'm happy with that. So we go to red, green, it's close, blue, it's close, and then white. It's about as white as that's ever going to be. Yeah, we still got some pretty big deflection problems going from full beam power to darker, and that's what's causing that. See, again, that sort of gold colour there isn't the same as the gold colour over there. It's a bit muted here, so okay, well, it is what it is, really. It's only a little television. To be honest with you, the little Genexa up there actually has a better picture than this thing. But yeah, I think it's as best as I'm going to get. So I'm going to call it a day on this. I'm going to put the TV back together again. Let's have a quick look at the linearity. See, the linearity is not that bad. The squares are square, and the square all over. Yeah, okay. We've got this sort of cross-hatching going on, and that's entirely down to the power. That could be even the actual power supply itself not supplying enough. See, that is pretty good. That apart from a bit of twisting and a bit of pin cushioning going in, yeah, the linearity is pretty good from top to bottom. As you can see, it's all curving up into the top, and I think that's entirely down to power supply. Maybe the power supply here I'm using isn't giving out enough current to it, so it's not high enough amperage. So could be that. Maybe I have to try and find another power supply. Let's just see. It's getting warm, but it's nothing too bad. Yeah, I think let's put this back together again and use it. I think the guns are what they are. I can't really do anything with them. I'd be interested to get this onto the CRT tester, but I don't have the right adapter for it, so I will have to try and see whether I can find an adapter for it. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's as close as I think I'm going to get it with this little thing. This is a few days after, and I just kept on thinking there must be something else going on here with the colour, and the reason that the colour itself is not too strong. And taking the TV apart again, looking at the colour control, and there's a little resistor just there, which is at 3.8 kiloohms. And that basically is tied to ground, so when you move the colour, so if it's no colour at all, it's 0 ohms, and then it brings the 3.8 ohm into play. Let me just zoom in just a little bit further. There we go. So you've got the colour control here, resistor there to ground, and I thought, well, maybe if I just replace this with, say for instance, a 10k. So yeah. So this resistor here, sorry about the camera work, this resistor here I'm going to replace with a 10k and see what happens. It might be too much, I don't know, but considering the range on this is right at its maximum of 3.8 kiloohms, and the colour's very weak indeed, it might have a pretty decent improvement on this control. So let's try that. So that's the old 3.8 kiloohm. Let's see whether I can zoom in. There we go. That's the old 3.8 kiloohm resistor. I've put a new one in there, and that's 10 kiloohm. So let's put this back together again and see whether it works. Okay, so update on this. I have paralleled a 10k resistor across the 3.8 on it, and I'm getting a good range of thing. I can turn it all the way down, the colour all the way down, and that's about a quarter, and the colour's just starting to bleed through the taxi, the green on the actual trees there. A little bit further and it all comes in, and there's colour. And then if I take it up to about there, which is about 3/4, that's got a nice colour to it. So yeah, as you can see, it's the blue. Oh, there's John Cleese and Eleanor Bron. This is City of Death, Doctor Who City of Death. Again, one of my favourites. Yeah, the colours there, it's looking really good. I'm happy with that. Took me a while to actually try different resistors just to get it exactly right on that colour pot, and now it is actually working really well. Yeah, so that's an interesting end to this video. I did record another end, and then today I sort of thought, let's try this and see what happens. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you subscribe onto my channel, and I will see you on the next video.